Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, this is kind of breaking news. Cossy, I swear if Arsenal have made another bid for another player, what are you going to do? Arsenal have made a bid for Marco Asensio, according to Defensa Central, an outlet that specializes in reporting around Real Madrid. This is what they've said. Arsenal have reportedly made a 40 million euro bid, that is 34 million pounds, to sign Marco Asensio, with their main rivals Milan believed to have bid around 30 million euros, that is 25 million pounds for the Spaniard. That is Defensa Central. And to be very, very clear, lads, here, Dean James has just said, to clarify, Defensa Central are a reliable for Madrid, and they literally cover everything Madrid sport. Men's and women's football, their basketball team, everything. They were the first to break our Odegaard bid too. So in this video, lads, we're going to be diving into Arsenal's bid for Marco Asensio. We'll try to make sense of why exactly, out of all the targets, is it Marco Asensio, a player, in my opinion, that is not that bad anyway, but he's not had a good season, I think, ever since his breakout season in 2016-17. He promised so much, and his career has actually delivered so little. Why? I'll give you many of my reasons and some of the research I've made around Marco Asensio. Is he the player Arsenal need? 26 years of age. I think the age profile is okay, but I don't know. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Very close to 52,000 subscribers. I apologize for the lack of good audio on the first video. It was the settings. I've definitely done some good work with rectifying that. Now, let's dive into it. First and foremost, like I said, some breaking story. Arsenal have made a 40 million euro bid for long-term target Marco Asensio. This is not the first time Arsenal have been linked with Marco Asensio. Way back in 2018, 2019, 2020, and now in 2022. In all those years, in all those summers, Arsenal have been linked with Marco Asensio, a player that has been, recurringly, happening and reappearing on Arsenal's radar until today, when a couple of a very, very reliable source in Madrid has actually broken the story that Arsenal have made a bid for Marco Asensio. Now, is it reliable? Let's start off from there. I'm gonna say it has a lot of reasons to be true. First and foremost, we wanted to sign Rafinha, but if you look at the amount of money we were tabling for the services of Rafinha, around 50 million euros, it was never enough. And if you look at the kind of money Arsenal has now tabled for Marco Asensio, it just makes a lot of sense. It would have been a very, very different story if the story said Arsenal have made a 70 million euro bid for a winger, yet we failed to bid for our priority target, 60 million pounds. So I think in that regard, it just points out what exactly is happening. Arsenal want a wide forward. Marco Asensio always discussed as a target, as a player, but we never wanted to pay over the odds. So 40 million euros, I will agree to that. And when we go back to what exactly Madrid are looking for in this player, they want to sell the player at around 35 million pounds. So Arsenal having made a bid in that region, it only makes a lot of sense. A couple of clubs are interested in the player. That is 100% true. And even before the stories coming out that Arsenal have made a bid, I reported before, even in January of 2022, if you still remember, that Arsenal wanted to sign Marco Asensio. Now, the situation between him and Real Madrid is very, very clear. Marco Asensio has played under Carlo Ancelotti this campaign, and he scored for them 10 goals in 34 appearances. However, it doesn't feel like he's a priority. It doesn't feel like he's part of what Real Madrid are trying to build under Carlo Ancelotti. With the likes of Aurelien Tchouameni coming in and Eduardo Camavinga, you expect other players of that quality, of that caliber, to be joining the club. Now, one of the things you have to know about the player, although he has predominantly done well in a 4-3-3 formation when he's playing as when he's playing out as a winger. He can play in a couple of positions, with reports and a couple of scout reports that I've looked at indicating that under Zinedine Zidane, he played in as many positions, to an extent that he was played as a central midfielder. So that first and foremost, that highlights the ability for him to play across the pitch. He can play for you as a right winger, left winger. He can play for you as a number 10. Arsenal ever wanted him as a replacement to Mesut Ozil. We ever wanted him to play in the position. And also, like I've said, he has ever played as a central midfielder. One of the things you love about him, before we get into the negatives, is he's a player who can really pass the ball very well, progress the ball very well, and can beat players 1v1. So he's technically gifted, and I think, honestly, he is a talented player. Very, very talented. Now, we have our own problems on him, and I have my own personal problems with him, but I think he could be an Alexis Sanchez kind of situation. It's very, very hard to believe that he doesn't get the love, he would admire at Real Madrid. He's a Spaniard, and many of them, their dream is to play for either Barcelona or Real Madrid. So the fact that he's there, I don't think it actually paints the picture that he's not receiving the kind of love that he wants to perform. So the question then is, why is he underperforming? Because you've told us that he's a good player, he's talented, technically gifted, good at passing. Actually, he's one of the few players that was in 2017, 2019-2020. He's one of the few players that were averaging an 89% passing accuracy in the final third, in the opposition half. That was absolutely very, very wonderful. And the way he announced himself as a player in 2016, 2017, and 2017, 2018, the way he announced himself as a player, as a new talent at Real Madrid, it just promised a lot. It just gave us a lot of curiosity to where this kind of journey was gonna end. As a person who supports that Spanish side, I thought we have another David Villa. We have another something to talk about for the next 10 years. It has not actually worked out. It looks like until now that he's going to be leaving Real Madrid, although he's won a couple of things under the team, with the team, it doesn't feel like he's been a very, very important part of that Madrid side. So now let's dive into the reason why he's been performing poorly. We talked about this when we were talking about Gabriel Jesus and why he was massively underscoring his XG. We talked about playing in different positions and positions that the player didn't actually feel they were his natural positions. So with Marco Asensio, the first reason is that he's played under different managers, and all these managers have used him tactically differently and in very different positions that he doesn't feel he is comfortable to play in. Like I said, under Zinedine Zidane, they played him as a central midfielder. In some games, they played him as a central midfielder. According to a few scout reports, I didn't really follow him that much, so I had to borrow some information from some scout reports that I trust to get you some of the best information that I can. So, look, the fact that you play a player you side as a winger, into deep in the midfield, it brings you some suspicion as to whether the player has either failed at his role and has failed to fulfill and maximize his potential, or actually the club has actually failed him. He's been played as a number 10, he's been played as a right winger, he's been played as a left winger, he's been played as a central midfielder in various positions and also in various systems. But one thing we can look at here is we can go back to the days when he performed very well, and that was one of those days is in 2015, 2016 when he played for Real Mallorca. Madrid loaned him there. They felt the player was not yet ready to play for them. Actually, they loaned him to Espanyol, not Mallorca, in 2015, 2016, after signing him from Mallorca. And during that period, he actually did very well. By that time, he was 20 years of age, and he scored 4 goals for them and assisted 10 times. That is when Real Madrid felt like it is high time to bring the player and start using him and try and start getting some services out of him. And if you look at the first season he played at Real Madrid, he actually did very well. This is it. So in his first season at Real Madrid in the Spanish La Liga, played 23 games, scored three times and assisted twice. And in the second season, when he was given more game time at Madrid in 2017, he actually scored 6 times and assisted 6 times as well. Last campaign, he had 10 goals and 0 assists for the team. And in last season, Carlo Ancelotti decided that he's going to be playing him centrally as as part of the midfield. Madrid, after losing Martin Odegaard, they didn't sign in anyone, and they found themselves in a situation where Toni Kroos had picked up an injury at the beginning of the season. I think Modric as well had picked up an injury, so they were left with very, very few options in that midfield. Marco Asensio played as part of the midfield, given the fact that Vinicius Jr., Bale, Hazard, and a couple of other players had already occupied the wider areas. It was easy for Carlo Ancelotti to incorporate him into that number 10 role, given his versatility. And I don't think he really did very, very poorly, because we've been overhyping and overrating Rafinha here on the podcast because we love him. But he only scored 11 times and assisted 3 times. That is around 14-15 goal involvements for him last campaign. Marco Asensio, despite the fact, despite the lack of game time, because Madrid predominantly they played Fede Valverde. They also played they also played Kroos and Modric in that midfield. So Marco Asensio has not been a very, very big time regular, coming off the bench on a couple of occasions, obviously. So the fact that he got involved in 10 goals in that campaign where they won the league, it's something to be maybe to think about and say Arsenal could get themselves a very, very good player. But the key question with Marco Asensio, why? We're still on that. And I think, honestly, apart from playing in positions where the player doesn't feel comfortable, the other reason could be game time. At times that consistency costs players their form and it costs them their careers. You need to be played consistently in a position where you feel you can consistently perform. It has happened with Gabriel Jesus, and that's why he's left Manchester City and said, "Look, you're not going to drag my career in the mud by always interchanging me, for positions that I don't even understand. You're either going to play me down through the middle or let me go." Join Arsenal and has been given that reassurance by Mikel Arteta that he will play down through the middle. Now, it is the same situation exactly with Marco Asensio. I think he needs a team that can give him that assurance. You're going to be our left winger. You're going to be our right winger, because he literally loves to play on the right-hand side of the wing, cut inside with his favorite left foot, and then have a go at goal. That is what exactly he does. Similar things like Nicola Pepe's, right? But he's not got that at Madrid. He needs consistency. In my opinion, Alexis Sanchez, if Arsenal get this one done over the line, Alexis Sanchez could resurrect in Marco Asensio, a player that Arsenal signed for around 35 million euros. Everyone is excited about him. The difference is we were more excited about Alexis and we are more skeptical about Marco Asensio. It comes from the fact that we've signed in a lot of bad players. In between the period, we signed Alexis, and now that we're trying to sign, we're trying to sign Marco Asensio, especially Nicola Pepe. But for me, 35 million euros, 40 million euros, 35 million pounds wouldn't be a very, very bad price. Can we revive his career? That is a question I'm not going to answer now. I think I'll do a video on whether Marco Asensio's career will be revived. I'm launching 2 more channels now. I'm launching my second channel. Of course, it's already running. Cossy Talks Football, the official home of the 90 More podcast. Is going to be running. Going to have interesting debates there. Going to have interesting content. Me featuring people that you will love to see. And also, I'll be announcing my own channel then, because I need to have a personal channel. This is now an Arsenal channel, and we love it. So I need to announce my own channel. And I think many of my opinions, popular and unpopular, will actually appear there, honestly. So I'll speak to you soon. Make sure you hit the like button for me. Please do that.